If you haven't already, press the subscribe button on American New Networks on your YouTube, and also download American New, the app, the television network. Type in America, type in NU on your app store. It's free, and you can see this mentality in the form of long form content. I guess happy holiday. The thing about holidays that are given to us, like Thanksgiving, is I just don't trust the holiday, the narrative of it. So many different stories. And I never want to be celebrating something that could be or be potentially evil. And to me, like, the history that gets passed down is usually the history of the person or the people that have conquered. They pass down their history, and it's only complimentary to them. And, a lot of times they cheated to get there. So, I just don't trust the history that's given to us by the people that conquered us, basically. Pause. But happy holiday. But, I do take that time because the rest of the world does to, celebrate their families around. And, and again, my thing is I don't wait for a holiday to sit at the table with my family. Rocky makes sure that at least twice a day that we all sit at a table and eat together as a family. But, and us being vegetarian, people are like, what'd you eat for Thanksgiving? And I'm like, I don't really care about Thanksgiving like that. But, stuffing was crazy. And what was crazy about, because Rocky still took it very serious. And, she did vegan Thanksgiving. And it was like, she did just like broccoli souffle. And she made the homemade cranberries. And again, the stuffing. And what was dope was Dusko, because, he spends this kind of time with his mom. He really loves cooking. And also, he watched Ratatouille, which for me is crazy to, no matter what, like a rat cooking my food is a no-go for me. I was watching that cartoon, but anyway, he was, cutting and prepping, and he really liked it. He was proud. And I'm like, damn, he's going to be a beast. But again, having a family and if these certain holidays invoke these certain moments of like the family being together, even though they should always be, I'm with that part of it. But it was just dope to have a family to celebrate with. So usually, all my other children, and this is what happens when you have children with a bunch of different women, their mothers want them there on certain, on the holiday. So all of my kids usually are with their mothers, and I end up by myself, traditionally, at least, before the last 4 years. But for the last 4 years, and it's a lonely thing for me. I can't say it didn't hurt. I would condition myself for it, but it was like I never got to spend certain holidays like Thanksgiving. It was very rare that I had my children. I was mostly alone. And I don't know if my children's mothers enjoyed that I was in that agony, but it definitely was painful. So always having a child, and all my kids are now like adults. My youngest teenager is 16, which is Tallulah. And, but the only child I have, I get to be with on the holidays, so it doesn't hurt so bad. And as long as I can speak, we all get on the FaceTime and we talk all, still very connected family. It's just over the internet at times. But you don't feel any pain when you're with the people you love. And I got a woman that cooks, and I get that family experience. And then after baby Dusko and Raquel put the tree and, we decorated and stuff, and it bugs me out. It's almost like you have to want a family and not be able to have a family sometimes to appreciate a family. But, for all of those that, like, I think Rocky's doing it great for her first time around. She nailed it. But for those young in love, that's the best thing, is to be with someone you love on the holiday, have your child, celebrate your child. There's no party better than that. There's no celebrities that could be better than that. The best thing is to see your child and your woman really enjoy life, So what's your first question?
So Dane, what do you think about Drake suing UMG?
Well, I'm not completely clear with what he was, what his accusation is, but from what I understand, it was that they were paying, I guess, bots or giving the CPM, giving it for less money so that Spotify would push it or one of those things. What it made me think about was, when I was in the business, there was still, or actively, there was still like physical product in stores. And the advantage of having a major and where all the money went was into what was called co-ops. Co-ops, right? And what that meant was you had to you had to buy the space in the store. So that cost money to buy the real estate so that your product was up front, and only the big artists had a budgets enough to do that. And then if you wanted more to move, sometimes you would cut the price. So what that means is you may be selling more units, but your margin is less. You're making less money. It's like giving away samples just for the perception of selling a lot of records, which would stimulate other ancillary things. So that was the trick back then. And that's the way a major artist did better perception-wise than an independent artist. But again, at the end of the day, so much money is being spent in pushing this facade that not so much money is being made, if y'all can follow that. So I just looked at it like this is the digital version of that. They cut the prices of the CPM so that they will play it more, or, and you get real estate probably on certain playlists and this, that, and the third. This is what I suspect. And that's the new game. That's like the new co-op. And I'm thinking like, well, if he's, to me, outside objectively, if he's thinking they did it or he knows they did it, it must have meant potentially they may have done it on his behalf before, or he must have seen it done to know that that could even exist, And it was probably all right, when it's rocking for you, but when they use it against you, it could be a trigger. And again, I don't know. This is just me thinking from the outside looking in, and this is my opinion objectively on it. And what that tells you is, again, when you rolling with the majors and they rocking with you, like we had this thing, I remember me and Irv on the jet with what was his name? I forgot his name. But the dudes that ran Warner, and it was like, cause we were rolling that year. I guess she had Ashanti out, we were doing our thing, and we were like, yeah, we on the jet this year, but will you be on the jet next year? It was all about will you be on the jet next year, the Universal jet next year. And Steve Rifkin was on the jet, but they sent him to the back, no disrespect, but you remember that, Steve. I forgot who was on the, damn, I wish I could remember their names. I just forgot about those people. Danny, he still runs things. But anyway, so when you're doing all right, they rocking with you and they play tricks on people and do all type of stuff. But when you're not doing all right, they use the same things that helped you to hurt you. And that's the problem with being dependent on them, because you're subject to their temperament, So I could see where he would be triggered to do that, but the timing of it all, I could see where there could be some recourse for him, a little backlash, because it could look like he's being a sore loser, even though he knows that they're using it to leverage him to, maybe cheat him out of some bread. But again, it's the nature of the beast of the people you're dealing with, So you can't you love them when they're on your side, but you don't love them when they're mad at you. And that's human nature. Like there's so many people that are so nice until you don't agree with them. Until there's a misunderstanding, that's a completely different individual. As long as you're doing what they want you to do, perfect. But as soon as there's a disagreement, that's the side where you understand if somebody's honorable, well-mannered, just how they deal with that, It's crazy because, now that the reasonable doubt thing is done and these people didn't make any money that brought the whole thing to auction. I don't know if they knew it or not, but I'm sure there's going to be some degree of like retaliatory action or some kind of, let's just say allegedly, I don't know what I could say to get me sued again, but every day I'm like, I'm sure there's another lawsuit coming. And it's going to have to be somebody lying, and I always think about who even could misinterpret it. It's just always you have to be afraid of a lie, But I feel like what might happen, I'm curious to see with Drake is, is there going to be like you might think once you deal with a big system like that's when they start letting out secrets and starting to get at you, and there's a lot of scrutiny. Really, what happens is the same people that protected you don't protect you anymore. And again, all the tricks that they use to protect you, they're now using against you. And you have to think that through. So I don't know. Like, I haven't been in the game. I'm not around it. Doug Morris, that's who was on the jet with me. Doug Morris, that was his jet. It's funny because on that jet he was arguing with this lawyer about who had the most money. Lizzie Grubman's father, Alan Grumblatt. And they were like two. They white and old, but they were arguing just like dudes in the street arguing. They were just getting at each other's bank accounts, and I was like, "Yo, y'all play like that too?" Real arrogant too. But it was eye opening that everybody, they do play like that. But anyway, yeah. So I'm curious to see how that all rolls out. If the lawsuit gets settled, how that gets resolved. If it doesn't get settled, then what happens? Like, what's going to happen? I'm looking at the Biden just pardoned his son, and then I'm looking at Trump, all of his charges getting pushed to the side, and I'm like, God damn, they went through all these trials. You know how expensive trials are? All this time. It's just all wasted, and it definitely doesn't give too much faith in people being treated equally. So I don't got nothing against Biden, but it definitely like, damn, I wonder, like, I'm curious to know what he's going to say to justify that very specifically, not like a broad, answer. But it does seem like, it was just a fuck you to Trump. You know what I'm saying? But it does give Trump be like, well, I'm about to do anything I want to do now. So I'm like, are they playing? But it's like a personal game to me. This is now personal, and people are using the system to do what personally behooves them, but it's very public in that way. I was always curious, like, he gonna cook his son? But I don't know. Like, if Trump would have lost, would he have pardoned him? I'm curious to know that. And I hope that if someone gets in front of him, that they're not scared and will ask him that. Like, if Trump would have lost, would you have still pardoned your son? You know what I mean? So I can't get next to him to ask him that. There are people I will ask and how they feel about it. But also, I'm looking at the people that Trump were appointing at the high levels. I haven't seen too many black people. So I'm curious to know how the black people that have supported him so heavy, that have been ride or die, are feeling about the fact that it doesn't reflect it in his immediate cabinet. But again, I don't know that much about politics. It's just what I'm seeing. And it's just how I feel personally. I'd be like, damn. But that's just me, the pride that I have that comes with, my culture. As long as things are equal, I'm cool with it, no matter who it is, really. And it's about who does the best for the bigger picture, which is our country and which is us, and the most logical shit.
How you feel about the post 50 put up?
The one with him supporting America New?
Yeah.
I was really happy about that, number one, I was curious. I was thinking, like, is he really trying, what kind of dude is he? And pause, that just seemed like some real nigga shit. So, whether it was or not, whatever it meant, I appreciate it. And I thought he led by example. And it's funny that it's him. He's been the first person, or let me say this. What he's done for America New, he's done more for America New than anyone that I helped put on. Nobody that I've put on or helped put on will even mention America New. They won't repost it. People, again, be like, yo, I feel sorry, or this is such a shame what's happening to Dame. And I'm like, so then in that moment, why don't they say, I just wish everybody would just go to his platform, America New, and he'll be back on. And for the people that I have put on, I've always been curious, like what is it about if I get you to a certain level that you don't like, you don't want to help me on any level, even if it doesn't cost you $1? And why? And while I was helping you, did you really hate me the whole time? Because the things that count the most don't cost $1. Like checking in on somebody when they're going through something, just out of respect. Or reposting, or just showing up blindly. Someone sent me what Nori said, and I didn't even watch it. I saw clips because it just hurts my feelings. You know what I'm saying? That when you give someone an opportunity that has never acted before, and you're trying to do them a favor, 20 years later, they could come back and say, yo, you didn't pay me for it in public. And it bugs me out with Nori because he's on a platform. His business now is asking questions about other people. But if someone says something in a funny way, like we funny cats, that he feels that I'm coming at him, I'm never coming at Nori. Pause. I will call Nori. And every time I've had an issue with Nori, I've called him. We've actually spoke face to face. So when he had Lior on his show and didn't ask him any of the questions that I thought he should ask, I called him about it. So Nori, you got my number. I'm curious, like if I hurt your feelings, I was, it wasn't really that deep. But these are things that if we were in front of each other, I would say. And you are over there, and Biggs is your manager. But what you should ask Biggs is, because again, it bugs me out, is do you remember that meeting where we were like, who's going to be on Rockefeller? It was like Kanye, and it was Nori, and it was Joe Buttons, and it was me, Biggs, and Jay, and me and Biggs voted Nori and Joe Buttons and Kanye, and his big homie did not. His big homie, and that's who he calls him now, was the one that said, I don't want him on our label. And I still, regardless to what your big homie now said, I still embraced him. I still put his records out. I still included him in the movies. And again, how much, like, it's so crazy, like, before someone acts and you say, yo, I'm gonna give you an opportunity to be in a movie, and it's not gonna help the movie, it's just really gonna help you. You jump in, and I don't even remember if he got paid. I just really thought that was whack that he questioned that. But then I did have a question. But then it made me think, I'm like, with that perspective, I know I went and I did your show for free. You never paid me. I never asked for $1. I mean, that's what friends do. But I am curious, are you paying anybody that comes on the show? Because I know I didn't get paid, but I'm not tripping. But for you to have that kind of a perspective, all of a sudden, after 20 years, call me about it, it made me think, like, how could he think that? He must, because he didn't pay me anything, and I would never charge him, And it just, it just seems like the people that that didn't want to hang out with him, now that he has a platform, he's in that crowd, and that's how I feel. And it just seems like a lot of the questions that are asked about me are meant to be for people to say negative things about me. on your platform. So I don't have a problem with it, but I didn't mean to. I wasn't coming at you. And just call me, Nori, if you feel that way, if you felt that way. And also, you do owe me an interview. So I got on. That was the exchange. You were supposed to come on my show. You know, it's just crazy how things roll out. And like I said, it bothers me sometimes because it's like, damn. He admitted it. Like, I'm the one that advised him to do his show, told him to be an actor, even ran up and fought for him and made them hate me more for, just because I didn't like them robbing him because they weren't giving him a proper budget. And then even embraced him in my family when the rest of the family didn't want to embrace him. And those same people that turned their back on him now, he's right there talking, giving people a platform to say things that I don't like. And I wanted to talk to Nori, but we haven't spoke about it. But I also didn't like, all that. Like if someone that's my brother is, regardless to whether they're manic or not, but they're in a place where they're triggered and they're saying things publicly that I know would hurt them, I'm stopping the cameras. And that was the platform where Kanye said the things that changed the trajectory of the rest of his life. And I'm looking at the camp and I was like, I just really didn't like that. Like, I just wish as brothers, because we brothers, we Rockefellers. When you see somebody saying something that can hurt them, you turn the cameras off. And that bothered me. And that made me not trust that situation. But that's just me from being a thinking man. And no disrespect, Nori. And I'm not mad at you, you're my brother. But these are the things that, based on what you said, this is what it triggered me to think, damn, why do I feel away? If I do feel away and he feels like I'm coming at him. But again, I just wish you would have called me or said something over the last 20 years and not made some announcement that you mad I ain't getting you no bread. Like Petey Crack was supposed to play El Plaga, but he got locked up. And again, because Big Homie wasn't embracing you, I had to do something to make you a part of our family. So I gave you that opportunity to act and star. And I don't even remember the pay and all that, but the whole purpose of it was for everybody to showcase things they weren't doing so it could stimulate pause other verticals. So again, it's like, why does everybody that I try to help, why do they always have this position when it comes to me, pause, when they get where they gotta go? And just give me a shout out. Just say, yo, Dame might be struggling, or if that's how you look at it, go to America New and support him. Why not just say that? Promote that. Honor Up is going to be on BET this Saturday. And let me explain how important that is to me. So there was Paid in Full, but that wasn't my story. I did not own it. Someone else put it out and I got robbed. I had to fight in the street over Paid in Full. So I wanted to have sort of my own Paid in Full. It doesn't mean I'm not doing Paid in Full. I'm still gonna do that. But I needed my own, and that's Honor Up. I got to put the people that I have personal experience in. I didn't have to ask nobody. I used my family's money and paid for it, wrote it, directed it, produced it, got the deal with Lionsgate to get it distributed with a theater just like a regular big, corporation. Been on Tubi, but also put it on my own version of Netflix, my own version of Tubi, mine. These are things that are important to me, for me to be able to do the things I did with other people, to be able to do it on my own. I had to prove that to myself. So now it's on America New, and now it's going to be on linear cable BET. And the potential after that is limitless. So that's just a personal victory for me that I'm celebrating. Maybe y'all don't see it that way, but I know what it is to do it with other people, to use other people's money, to have an idea and get it taken, to have to fight for good taste. I shot that movie without a script based on me just being inspired. And I put my homeboys, the people I really grew up with, are in that movie. I was able to do that for them. It was to me, this is a W for independence. And it doesn't happen overnight. And yes, you have to use your own bread when you want to do everything that you want to do without anybody telling you what to do. It's the only way. And it's not for everybody. And you don't get your money back immediately. Yeah, if I could re-up, if everything I put my money into, I could get my money back right now, I have more money than all of them. Trust me on that. And that's why I feel like this narrative, that's another thing. When it comes to those bots, that's also the reason why I know that certain narratives are pushed, because people they pay bots to say things. That's why when shit doesn't make sense, I'm like, yo, they pushing bots. I've been saying. And then they get people to push a narrative, and then you become a human bot. Don't be a bot ass nigga. You know, don't be programmed to say something that's not true because it's somebody else's agenda, because you heard other bots say it. Don't get caught up in the bot universe and the influence of it. Because as you see, they can pay for narrative. They pay bots to say certain things like he's broke or he keeps talking about a dude. Same thing. Or at least that's how I see it. Just use your logic. But anyway, back to Honor Up. So this is a big celebration for me. May not be for you, but I want you to understand what certain W's are for general, for someone that fights real wars. But I'm only fighting me. I just had to know that I could do what they did on my own, that I don't have to go to them to tell my stories. I don't need them to cut that middleman out. You know? And I've been writing, I wrote 4 episodes. Me and Nicolette wrote 4 episodes of Honor Up, the television series. As soon as this plays, my intention is to start shooting Honor Up, the television series immediately. And I look forward to where this relationship can go with BET. You know? And I appreciate them letting me do it in a way where I remain, you know, feeling good about the situation. So everybody, Saturday, turn on BET and watch it. I'm telling you, this is a win for all of us. And there's more surprises after that. And I'm going to be doing a watch party while I'll be watching it. So everyone, me and some like Murder Mook and Smoke Dizza, and hopefully Styles P might show up, who knows, because he's in it. I wish Cam would show up, he's in it. The Locks are in it, pause. You know, so if any one of them show up, but we're going to watch it. You could ask us questions, but you got to have it on your screen. You know, so I'm at 99,000. So by the time this comes out, we're approaching 100,000. By the time this comes out, we should be celebrating 100,000. We're like 99,000 and some change. So America New to me is stimulated. We got 100,000. We did it, you know, hand to hand. But 100,000, it's not easy. Ask anybody that's trying to get 100,000 downloads for their app, what that means. And we can now have Honor Up, and you know, we're on BET linear television, so that's one vertical stimulated. I told everybody that the next vertical would be fashion, right? Well, let's say this. I have a freeway project coming out on Blue Rock with the Black Guns. So that's the music vertical. So we have the television network vertical, which I never had. Instead of, you know, paid in full, I have my own, make another paid in full. I made my own Honor Up on my own. And now I have, instead of Rockefeller, it's Blue Rock. But I'm still working with a Rockefeller artist, state property artist, that's Freeway. But with a live band, it's my way. You know, it's the freeway. You know what I mean? That's why it was symbolic pause to do this project with a Freeway, because it's the freeway. We are free. We can do whatever we want, have fun with it, make it a curriculum, perform it, you know, but it's really, we respected the art. So that vertical is about to be stimulated. And that's why I was so anxious for someone to step up to go label for label, television network for television network. But now it's time to stimulate the clothing. to get back to, because, you know, I don't think everybody's so fresh, to be honest. But, you know, this is the Anunnaki. I did a collab with, can you see it? With Afroletics. And this is the Anunnaki CEO edition special. And I got the jackets. We got the, and it's in colors too. And, you know, I've been waiting, because what I was always developing, oh, I can't wait. Oh my God, y'all gonna be seeing me wear all this. I'm giving y'all a sneak preview into my closet, you know? It look better on, but, oh man. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna let people pre-order it. These are samples. And hopefully by the time this works, you press the shop button, you'll be able to pre-order it. It'll take about 3 weeks, because I'm about to order a bunch of it. But I consider y'all the people that actually tune in, like my family. And I'm gonna give y'all first dibs on whatever I'm doing, and I appreciate all y'all support. But do know, you know, Anunnaki, to me it was like, I always hear about aliens, but it's like they white, like, you know, tall whiteys and the grays. I'm like, you telling me ain't no black aliens? And what I found out through talking with Billy Carson is that the original Anunnakis were black, and they brought beer, they brought weed, they brought all of that. And I've never considered myself human. I think I feel like I got Anunnaki blood, pause. You know? So CEO, Anunnaki, you gotta be out of this world to do those things, you know what I mean? And it makes sense. So we got the green, I got the green on, but there's 4 other colors. There's the red, the blue, and the black. You know, Yankee blue, Jets green, Pittsburgh black, and red. I don't do the red, but the red is hard too. Chicago Jordan, yeah, Jordan red and black. You already know. So y'all could order those, and I'm giving people the opportunity to also buy it wholesale to sell it retail, almost like Mary Kay, but only, you know, I think like minimums of 10. So if you want to inquire about that, holler. It's just a business model. But again, you press the shop button, and, you know, you'll be able to see everything. You should be able to buy the pause button, the books. So that's the clothing stimulated, right? That's another vertical. I'm just really showcasing to you. This is the business lesson of the week. It's the octopus, pause, and then it's the 8 legs, the different verticals, so that if one's not doing well, you could cut that leg off. It doesn't affect the head, and, you know, the rest could still do well. But one out of these 8 legs is going to be doing all right. So if you say I have no motion, pause, or I'm not hustling, that's crazy. But right now, tell me I'm not hustling. If this was drugs, I'm selling every kind of drug you could think of. I got heroin, I got that wet dust, I got the weed, I got the Crizac, I got all that, pills, everything. But instead of the drugs, what it is I got the television network. We have the movies, the television shows. We have the music. We have the fashion. We have the children's books. We have the children's network with curriculum. You know, these are big dreams. So, and there's more legs, pause, to stimulate. But I got to go one at a time, and we're doing flip one page. And I'm giving you a business. When you dream, you got to dream big. You know, I'm not dreaming about having a label. That's just an ancillary leg. I'm dreaming about having a conglomerate, so that each business would be something that somebody in my family may love, have passion for, and make it run if they feel like it. For every feeling that I have, and that every emotion and everything that inspires me, I try to have a tangible business. Because why not do what you love? And why can't I do it? And I can do this. I'm an Anunnaki. Another lesson of the day is you can't let your overreaction to things affect your reaction to things. You know, like if things bother you in the moment, and the things that people say bother you in the moment, and you know that sometimes you can overreact, don't react. Just wait a second. And also, you can't be so, like, if someone says something to you while they're overreacting, you can't react to it while you're not overreacting as if that person was talking from a place. It's almost like when people say things while they're upset, it's almost like they're drunk. You don't listen to them. And you don't take every word that they say while they're upset for like it's the truth. It's like you have to think about that person may have said it while they're emotional. They may not have meant it that way. And because you may overreact, you may have, looked at it in a way that may not be so bad, or rather that might not be so bad, and you're just making it worse than it is. And I'm saying that to say I have to sometimes make sure I'm not overreacting. That's what a boss has to do. These are like boss thoughts. Like, am I overreacting? Am I making a decision while I'm emotional? Am I listening to somebody that was emotional and now I'm basing how I treat them based on that or my actions? You have to do what's in the best interest of what you're fighting for, like your family. So it doesn't make sense to hurt your family to prove a point. That's called spite. You know what I mean? Like, if you know that, something's not right, but because someone told you that it was, you're going to just let it go and know that it's going to make you have to work harder, you're just hurting yourself. And that becomes karma. And it becomes a lesson in life. And I always try to make sure I'm not doing the same thing I'm telling people not to do. So I'm like, I want to make sure I'm not overreacting. I want to make sure that the people that are making me do certain things that I care about, that they're not overreacting. And if they are, we need to talk when they're calm. And I don't want to do anything while I feel emotional, which is why while I'm making movies and writing, I don't like to do business, because I'm really emotional while I'm doing creative things, and I don't want that to spill into the business. So it's hard to be like creative and to do business at the same time without making like a cold decision while you should be creative, or making a creative decision when you should be with emotion, when sometimes, I won't say a creative decision, but an emotional decision when you need to make a decision with no emotion. And you can't only work when you feel like it. Like, if you're upset about something, it doesn't mean that the work can't get done. The test is, when you're upset about something, can you still do the work? And when you put all your personal feelings to the side for the business. And as a boss, you have to do that. You can't have something personal happen into your life and use that as an excuse to mess up everybody else's money. The reason why you are the boss is because you can work while you're wounded. A boss has to work while they're wounded. A boss has to lead by example. I don't like I hate the way as soon as money gets into a bank, it's not your money no more. You have no control of it. And we were having an issue, my daughter, with a wire, and it was like, you might need money at a certain time, and it takes 3-4 days to clear, or it might get flagged, and it'd be an emergency. So in certain situations, I'd be like, man, I might just have to fly it. You know what I'm saying? And, I don't know, that it was a situation that happened this week where I had to fly in for a day because I didn't trust wires. You know what I mean? But I had to do it myself. Because it was like, when you don't have any time for error, when there's no room for mistake, when time is the issue, sometimes you have to do that shit yourself to make sure it gets done right. Because worrying about a person doing it right, that time alone, it's so draining and it takes so much energy from you that you might as well just do it yourself. So I'm like, instead of waiting for a wire that may get flagged or probably get lost because it just got lost for a month. I just fly in, get it, and bring it. Because the business that I was dealing with in that moment, it was it was that important that I couldn't let it be anybody else's fault but mine that this didn't work. I had to be the blame. And that's what bosses do. They do the work that they pay people to do. Even if they pay them to do it, they'll do the work if that person is not doing it. So at the end of the day, if you're an entrepreneur, you will be challenged. You will be tested. Even in the street, it's sometimes better to do things on your own than to trust that someone else is going to do it. And then once somebody does something for you, especially if it's a favor, it might not be done the right way, but you still owe them. And now they may have something over you. So the more shit you could do on your own, the less you have to owe somebody else. And that's another thing that's important to me, why I don't want to take a bunch of bread from somebody else, because there's going to be such interest on that bread, so many terms on that debt, that if we sell the company after the debt gets paid, there might not be that much left. So trying to break up a company without having so much debt on it is a big trick as well. And, again, that might mean that you're not buying no jewelry this year, or new sneakers, or, a private jet. Or you might not be going on that vacation. It might have to go into editing. It might have to go into marketing. It might have to go into staff. When someone else is paying for your shit, when you get money, you can spend money. When you paying for your own shit, when you get money, you got to go and buy more shit. So that's why I say I'm always broke, because no matter what, when the money come in, my dreams are so big that all of it's going back out, unless it's like so much. And until that happens, like I don't trust money. If money's sitting, I just feel like it's gonna evaporate. So making a lot of money and trusting that it's gonna sit there, I don't trust it. What I need to do is make a money machine, something that always gives you residual income, something that's always making you money, something that's always making your family money. And that's why I keep investing until that machine just prints money. Because again, if I got a lot of money, it ain't gonna stay. It's gonna be gone. Can't nobody hold a dollar. I can't. Unless it's so much that I don't have to invest anymore. But there's so much to change. There's so much to do. There's so many things, so many verticals that I feel that I could be really good at. It's like a gift and a curse. Number one, wanting to do a lot of things. But number two, wanting to do a lot of things on your own. It's insanity. And it's not for everybody. I suggest you focus on one thing. But because I've won since I was young, because things worked out for me a certain way with other people's help, so young. Like again, I was done with Rockefeller by the time I was like 33, 34. Right? That I had to see if I could do this on my own. I just wanted to know if I could do it on my own. That's just my personal battle. That's just the Harlem shit with me. I just wanted to do it with my friends. Pause. I just wanted to do it. I didn't want to have to fight to showcase good taste. I didn't want to put my ideals and my point of view. I was sick of people acting like me and getting paid for it. And then be mad at me because you don't want nobody to know that you acting like me. And it is what it is. Just look at the algorithm. Look at the history. The receipts are there. I am an artist. Y'all think it's normal to direct a movie, write a movie, produce a movie, act in the movie, jump on design a collection, make the collection, and be in a rock group, score a movie. These are all creative things. See if any CEO of the companies that you work for could do any one of these creative things that I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? And again, big shout out to 50. I'm almost at $1. And I appreciate that support. To me, whether you did it on purpose or not, that was some real nigga shit, and you led by example, and I fuck with that. I do. Holla. Also,
Don't disrespect me and say I do everything everybody else does, and I put up my own money.
CEO buttons, just press the shop button.
Pause.
Press the shop button. You want the glasses so you have CEO vision. Press the shop button. And if you want to pre-order these Anunnaki joints, you know, it's Anunnaki all winter right now. So, you know, have a great, oh yeah, and then also check out on Thursday, because this will probably come out Wednesday, right? Today's Monday, Wednesday. So on Thursday, we'll be having, you know, the Q&A with Big Face Gary, Bosses Take Losses. And I appreciate y'all. Make sure on Saturday, please, I'm asking y'all, my community, my crew, chat, whatever, please watch Honor Up on BET Linear. Talk about it, repost it, please. Trust me, it'll give freedom. Trust me on this one. And there'll be more announcements coming through. Holla.